Hello everyone! In today's video, I'm going to introduce the knowledge of traditional Chinese architecture. So let's begin. What is traditional Chinese architecture? It can be imperial palaces, altars, temples, mausoleums, pagodas, civilian residential housing, and bridges. When we mention traditional Chinese architecture, what is the first traditional building that comes to your mind? The Hall of Supreme Harmony in the Forbidden City? The Temple of Heaven? The Great Wall? Or a certain Buddhism temple in your hometown? Or a traditional garden you once visited during a trip? No matter what it is, they probably are the masterpieces of traditional Chinese architecture. Why are they the very first buildings that pop into your mind? Probably because you have noticed some typical features. Their extended eaves and colorful paints have left you a deep impression. Features of traditional Chinese architecture are embedded in their doors, windows, decorations, and roofing elements. They had different functions and were built in different dynasties. But they do share many common features of traditional Chinese architecture. So, what are the features? Let's look at this picture. In this picture, almost all the buildings are rectangular. They are built with bricks and glazed tile. Some of them have double-eaved roof. They are built with wood. The whole layout is symmetric. These are the features of traditional Chinese architecture. The first typical feature is the timber framework. Traditional Chinese architecture featured timber framework as supporting structure. Walls were not load-bearing. They were only used to separate space. The timber frame supported most of the weight of the house. Windows, doors, and walls were not restricted to certain locations. The load of the top of the structure could be transferred to its groundwork through its posts, beams, lintels, and joists. Timber framework was resistant to earthquakes while possessing the advantages of flexibility and adaptability. Secondly, traditional Chinese architecture also stresses on the layout. Traditional Chinese structures were usually based on the principle of balance and symmetry. Palaces, temples, and residences all follow the principle that the main structure was the axis. The secondary structures were positioned as two wings on either side to form the yard. In this way, groups of buildings appeared organically assembled. Thirdly, traditional Chinese structures were mostly built with timber, but some were built with bricks and tiles. The glazed tile is a high-grade building material in ancient China. It was used exclusively on palace buildings and on large mansions of some nobles and high officials. The residences of some nobles and officials were built with gray tile roofs. Fourthly, ancient Chinese buildings tended to have huge roofs with extended eaves. This was to ensure enough light and avoid dampening of the walls. Curved temple roofs had another deep meaning. Buddhist followers believed that curved roofs helped to ward off evil spirits, which were usually attracted to straight lines. Roof styles in the Qing dynasty can be mainly categorized into single-eaved roof and double-eaved roof. The double-eaved roof has a higher ranking. Besides, there are many other roof styles, such as hip roof, gable and hip roof, overhanging gable roof, and flush gable roof. Hip roof had the highest ranking, therefore, only buildings ranking highest in the architectural hierarchy can have double-eaved hip roof. The famous ancient Chinese architecture with a double-eaved hip roof is Hall of Supreme Harmony. It is the largest hall within Forbidden City and located at its central axis, which was the grandest and the most important building of Ming and Qing dynasty. The roofs of ancient Chinese palaces, temples, and mansions also had zoomorphic ornaments called wenshou. Placing animal figures on roof ridges was a traditional practice. Let's look at this picture. How many mythological animals are there on the ridges? These are wenshou. From Long to Hangshi, there are 10 animals. Mythological animals play an important role in the architectural hierarchy. Actually, you can only see all the animals on the ridges of Hall of Supreme Harmony. The Hall of Preserving Harmony ranked the second with 9 on its eaves, and the Hall of Central Harmony ranks the third with 7. It is a little bit hard to read the Chinese names of these mythological animals because they use some uncommon characters. From left to right, they are 龙、凤、狮子、天马、海马、酸泥、侠鱼、蟹豸、斗牛、恒石。It was believed that immortal beings and various beasts serve to protect secret buildings and keep evil spirits away. Because traditional Chinese buildings use timber framework as supporting structure, 2 of them, 海马 and 酸泥, have the power of controlling over water and protect the building from fire. The last feature is colorful paint. It plays roles of decoration and protection. Paint was initially used on wood for antisepsis. Later, it became an architectural ornament. In feudal society, the use of colorful paint was restricted according to strict social stratifications. Usually, a gold powder or foil dragon or phoenix painted on a green background gives the structure a sense of nobility. These are the main features of traditional Chinese architecture. Do you still remember the first picture I presented you in this section? Yes, the panoramic picture of Forbidden City. All these features can be seen in the Forbidden City. Usually, the imperial architecture represented the highest architectural techniques and aesthetic standard. Emperors of different dynasties built palaces where they lived and administrated their reign, such as Xianyang Palace and Efang Palace of Qing Dynasty, Weiyang Palace of Han Dynasty, and Daming Palace of Tang Dynasty. Sadly, most of them were ruined. The Forbidden City was the only imperial palace complex that can be seen by people nowadays. Okay, so much for this section. Let's have a little review. In today's video, we have learned the features of traditional Chinese architecture. Thank you for watching. Hope you've enjoyed it, and see you next video.